So you're thinking about moving, maybe buying or selling a home in 2023, but you want to know what in the world is going on with the real estate market. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to talk about the National Association of Realtors 2023 forecast, and we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Atlanta, Georgia, well, subscribe below and ring the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market and when we release new great content just like this. My name is Denny. The team and I get calls each and every day from people just like you looking to make the move to Atlanta, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving next week, next year, or anytime in between, call, text, email, schedule a Zoom, and we would be happy to help you make a smooth move to Atlanta. As I mentioned, we're gonna go through the National Association of Realtors 2023 forecast, kind of tell you what the real estate market's gonna do, what the overall economy is gonna do, and hopefully that'll help support you in your decision for what you wanna do this year. So if you aren't familiar with Lawrence Yun, he is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, also known as NAR. Simply, when you pass a real estate exam and you get your license, you become a real estate agent. There's about 3 million of those across the country. And then when you join the National Association of Realtors, which holds you to a higher level or standard in terms of continuing education, ethics, and professionalism, then you become a realtor. And so they have access to tons of data nationally and locally that, not all of us are privy to. And so always love when he shares his thoughts, and that's what we're going to dive into today. So one of the things they looked at is where the volume is going to be. Volume is just the number of transactions. Last year there were 5.13 million transactions across the country. Obviously every one of those transactions has a seller and a buyer, and that's going to be down about 6.8% this year to just 4.78 million transactions. Now there's still homes being bought and sold every single day, but there are some inherent challenges or risks that come with lower volume. That means each individual transaction, it impacts the overall average more. And so on low volumes, you can see prices change more rapidly, and other things are going to impact the industry. But that's where we're at in terms of volume. Well, sales volume is one thing, but you probably don't care how many houses sell or are bought across the country. What's more important, what you really want to know, is what are prices going to do, right? And so I have a little excerpt from the National Association of Realtors from Lawrence Yun that I'd like to read to you, and then we'll talk about the overall market. So it says half of the country may experience small price gains, while the other half may see slight price declines. However, markets in California may be the exception, with San Francisco, for example, likely to register price drops of 10 to 15%. So not great news for California with a 10 to 15% price drop, but overall, they only expect 0.3% price growth. And so that really just means a flat market. Now, if you haven't seen our video on the top 10 markets across the country, according to NAR, they are expected to grow at 5% or more, and none other than Atlanta came in at number 1. If you want to see the whole list, check out that video. But across the country, 0.3% appreciation. In those top 10 markets, 5% or more. So if you want equity in your home, if you don't want buyer's remorse, if you want to buy an appreciating asset, then you should definitely check out Atlanta, Georgia. If for some reason you're not ready to buy a home and you're looking at renting first as you move, or haven't quite purchased anything, or maybe you're going to sell and rent for a while, it's going to be more of the same. So last year rents were up 7%, which is pretty significant for a 1-year increase, and this year they're projected to go up another 5%. So with the challenges in affordability and the rising prices and the rising interest rates, rental demand is higher than it ever has been, and there's not going to be any relief there anytime soon. So they expect rents to go up 5% across the country in 2023. Now, all of these things are greatly impacted by a couple of things. One, interest rates. As you know, we were in the 3s last year and we got all the way up to the 7s. We're back down in the 6s. So good news on the interest rate front. NAR expects the average rate over the course of 2023 to be about 5.7. It's a little bit higher than that right now. It should continue to come down. The Fed is continuing to slow their increases. They started with 3/4 point raises, then 0.5 point raises, increases, and they're forecasted to raise rates by 1/4 of a point, 1 maybe 2 times before they pause, and that should give relief on mortgage rates, and it should also, give some relief in the overall market. So 5.7 on average across the country for interest rates. The GDP, which is gross domestic product, is another thing that could impact all of these forecasts, right? Is how productive are we individually, which with inflation was crazy over the last couple of years. It was up like, I want to say 7% or more, but normal GDP growth is only about 2 to 3%, about 2.5%, and they're forecasting about 1.5% GDP growth in 2023. So a little bit increase in productivity, but not a ton. If we do see a recession, if we do see a meaningful drop in the stock market, if we do see a meaningful spike up in unemployment, all of these forecasts can change, right? This is a forecast based on the information that the National Association of Realtors has now, but you always want to be flexible. That's why it's great that you have a resource that you can lean on so that you can make adjustments. We would love to be that resource for you. So whether you're moving next week, next year, or anytime in between, call, text, email, schedule a Zoom. We would be happy to help you make a smooth move. If you haven't already, please do subscribe below. If you get any value from this, ring that bell so you're notified when we release new content. And until we see you in person, see you on the next episode.